Hello to everybody. My name is Stefan Hoppe. I'm the President and Executive Director of the OPC Foundation, and it's a real pleasure for me. So you should have, you should see how it looks like from here. It's really impressive. We have 353 registrations, and we just started this event and the planning a few weeks ago, 6-7 weeks. It was an initiative by the VDMA, and so it's a pleasure for me to also friendly say a hello and welcome to Mr. Welker, the Managing Director of the VDMA, but also Mr. Raun from the VDMA. We will have more speakers from VDMA later. Also from a hello to Paul Zereiko. I don't know, Paul, where you are here in the room, from the Fieldcom group. And of course, I like to say thank you to Hanover Messe, who is supporting us here very friendly to host this event. This is the first world time where we have this World Interoperability Conference, and I believe this is a really good starting point. At the first time of Hanover Messe, we should launch something new, right? And so the Monday is a correct day to be here. And so let's go and have a short overview what's really important and why is interoperability the key for the future. I will give you a short update. What is the OPC Foundation and what are we doing? The OPC Foundation is really the neutral organization, completely independent. I believe this is the biggest value, independent from any market vendor, but we do the technology which is also independent from all kinds of markets, from all kinds of vendors, and we are delivering interoperability, scaling from small sensor up into the IT enterprise cloud. And what we deliver is also open. You don't have to be a member to get access to the specifications. You don't have to be a member of the OPC Foundation to get sample code, and you don't have to be a member of the OPC Foundation to bring your device, which you build up with a toolkit for quick RAM start, into a certification lab. So why should you be a member of the foundation then? It's a big question, right? I can read your brains. To have early insights exactly about all the upcoming companion specifications, to be early on the market, to influence the direction, to really know what's going on. So I believe the OPC Foundation is the world's largest ecosystem with all toolkit vendors, certification, education for industrial interoperability. And as you see here also, today's board of directors is extreme independent. It's the who is who of the automation market. Not only the OT companies, also IT companies. And this is a picture which is just 2 weeks ago, and I know that Shinji, my board colleague from Yokogawa, is here in the room. Hello, Shinji, welcome. I don't know if Veronika Schmidt-Lutz is also here. Veronika, are you here? She's our chairwoman, right? So if you have all these gentlemen in one room, there's only one person where everybody is listening, that's Veronika, and she's doing a phenomenal job to really align us and work, that we can work really efficient. So what is the OPC UA technology? I think it's 3 pillars overall, which are really important. On the left side, the interoperability, that it's open, that it's independent. It is scalable, I mentioned that already, that you can discover services in the network and find devices and enabled devices and services. Critical important is it's independent from any kind of protocol and transport. It's extendable. One of the questions always I hear a lot is, should I use OPC UA or another technology? For example, MQTT is also popular, and say, hey, you are mixing 2 different things. OPC is an industrial interoperability framework, which even has MQTT included. So we can move OPC UA data over MQTT. Inside OPC UA, we have multiple protocols, because in a networked world, you need different protocols to really address different needs. And as mentioned before, OPC Foundation is non-profit, it's independent, and we have a lot of our tools and sample codes on GitHub. I'm jumping first to the right side to security. Security is built in by design. It is not only the transport security, it is really built in by design from begin that we can also, that we have 3 different security layers that you also can secure which data are visible and accessible to which role. That's important. And this has been validated by security experts worldwide, but also here in Germany from the BSI because of the relevance of OPC UA for the German industry initiative, Industry 4.0. But then I believe this is the most important fact here in the middle, the modeling capabilities. That's why we are here, by the way, because we have overall 50+ initiatives who are already modeling with OPC UA their specific domain models, their domain expertise. 32 of them are here today, and it's a real pleasure to have you here. First of all, thank you very much for all these initiatives, taking the time, being here and presenting your results. That's really the key start, and being here as a key start, I think, makes all of us proud. What you see is that putting your domain knowledge into an OPC UA server, modeling your capabilities, makes it interoperable to the rest of the world, and we can talk and connect to each other. And OPC UA is not just factory automation, which you might think here at Hanover Trade Show, and there are also so many VDMA initiatives. That's a perception. You see that, and you will see here that we are also set for process automation, but we also have colleagues here from the energy area, and I will have some more examples later on. This demand on modeling definitely needs also demand on experts. So we started an initiative just 2-3 months ago, and meanwhile, 24 experts have registered on the OPC web, and they are external experts, and for different categories, they provide services for modeling, for security, for consulting in general. So just have a look if you need an expert in your region or for a specific skill, and you get an answer on the OPC web. So the basic, simple question is when we start, this is how even I started 30 years ago. We, as human beings, we made a contract, like if this bit is switching from 0 to 1, this is the meaning behind. And we as human beings agreed on this, and it was time consuming, and it was a huge documentation effort and so on. And of course, all our dream was, why can't the machines describe themselves, their services? And this exactly happened. So robot exactly can self-describe, and they have the same meaning of the data and information, and this is dramatically reducing engineering time because robots from different companies are talking the same language, they provide the same data, the same interfaces. And we know this scenario from our private world already. When we buy a printer, obviously the printer has a USB connector, maybe also TCP connector, maybe also Bluetooth connector. But you have the USB connector, which has a physical standard, but also a mechanism behind to exchange information. I'm a printer, and this is my service. But even you have a standardized interface, this does not mean that you cannot differentiate with other products on the market. A printer can print in color or black-white or double-side, or they provide additional services like scanning information. And this already happened on the right side also in our industrial world. You can buy these machines or the devices from stock, and they have already this standardized interface, and that's OPC UA. So here you have an overview which is really, I believe, impressive and really shows in which industry we are. And this is just where we are aware of OPC UA is used in these areas, because all these groups have a so-called joint working group with the OPC Foundation. Modeling, using OPC UA as a modeling language to describe your devices does not require, as mentioned before, membership in the OPC Foundation. It's an open technology, everybody can use it. So a lot of times we are not aware which groups or which companies are using OPC UA already. This is just where we are aware, where we made a contract, an agreement, and you see that there are a lot of industries behind. To just, again, give you a very short overview, I'm not talking about the information models itself, but I give you just a small overview. For example, we are proud that the oil and gas, the process automation area, the OPA group, Open Process Automation Forum, recently in begin February, announced that they selected and committed to OPC UA as a connectivity layer. So huge process automation sector from North America, initiated by ExxonMobil. Here in Europe, we have Profibus, Namur, but also the Fieldcom group, where Paul will have another talk later on, so I'm not diving into the details. But here we have the so-called NOAA information model, and they also mandatory required OPC UA. The VDMA is our key partner for the discrete manufacturing, for the factory automation. And just this small logo VDMA results in multiple more activities, which Andreas Fahrt later on will give an overview. Just 1 hour ago, I was part again from the next group, the Surface Technology group from the VDMA, starting up. So this slide is never updated. It's always out of date because the VDMA is so rapidly starting new working groups. I just want to highlight 2 more to give you an impression that we are also in the pharmaceutical industry. And this is really exciting because there's a real use case behind, which is right now in all kind of media, at least here in Europe, where you hear that pharmaceutical medical stuff has to be traced and tracked, that you always can scan something and be aware when has it been produced, where has it been transported, to not get wrong medical stuff or nothing is inside. So it's really saving human life. I was not aware of that, but it's the OpenSCS group in the pharmaceutical industry. And one more, which is right around the corner, which I think it's a little bit different from what we know from a robot and from a process automation area. It's industrial kitchen equipment, where we have the HKI organization showing that they modeled a couple of 12, 13 devices for industrial kitchens, because also there you need communication to devices to make the world more efficient. Unfortunately, help me again, which company was it announcing a new coffee machine? Küppersbusch. So I'm announcing here that Küppersbusch announced that they will support and integrate OPC UA into their coffee machine. And yeah, so we need that on our OPC booth, right? So there's a specific, there's a difference. Everybody can just do modeling and write a companion specification. Please go to the OPC web, download templates. Then you have a better quick start and a RAM start to make it better quality. Everybody can do that. You are not allowed to take the OPC UA the OPC Foundation logo on the title page, because you just did it on your own. We are not aware of that. But if you want to make something in cooperation with the OPC Foundation, then we call it joint working groups. And we have some rules for that and templates, because we are reviewing what you are doing to make it a better quality. We are helping with experts that you get a better RAM start. So we highly recommend, please contact us, that we can help and that we can avoid overlapping standards in the world. That not one initiative in this part of the world doesn't know what the other initiative is doing. So we are trying to harmonize that and bring people into contact. And right now we have about this 50+ organizations already. And just go to the web, download the list, and you have a PDF file where you see exactly who did what is released, what is the status. And we are also starting with traffic lamps about the status, about the implementation, about adaptation, and also certification. Important is definitely certification. So the OPC Foundation is already ready to start to also do certification on companion specifications. We can certify OPC UA products from begin, but recently, for example, the MDIS group for oil and gas released the first product in the lab, and this is just a device which came into the OPC lab in Stuttgart here in Europe, and you see this gentleman here from company Almendinger running the lab. And the next groups which are upcoming are these groups for standardization, for certification, sorry. Certification is not mandatory. It depends on the group if they want to have it mandatory or not. We, as the OPC Foundation, can't make a rule, but we highly recommend that you do certification because you're solving and eliminating a lot of trouble inside the lab before. And there are a lot of details, and we have videos, descriptions on that, how you can provide value to that. I'm not diving into all the details. We have tools, a so-called compliance test tool, which we are extending with domain-specific tests. This is under construction. And we are also proud that we have now, this year, first time in Europe, 2 interoperability workshops because of that high, strong demand. And so we have different test focus here in these 2 weeks, which again, I think it's the 15th or 16th times hosted by Siemens in Nuremberg. The gentleman you see here is Alexander Almendinger, and I just see him right there in the corner at the door. He will be at the OPC Foundation Partner Pod. So he's the expert, he's running the OPC lab. Whatever question you have to OPC technology, certification, contact him for today. Well, exactly what I talked about is here, this domain-specific harmonized information models. That vendors inside a specific domain come together and agree on data and interfaces. And just to give you 2 examples, one is from the Auto ID AIM group, which is also outside, and they also have already products available from Harting, Siemens, Balluff, Leutze, SIG, Turk, Pepperl and Fuchs announced it for this year. Interesting for me is, it's not only RFID readers, it's also 1D, 2D barcode readers. So we have different signal types here, but we have one interface to talk to the device. Which means if you just implement these 5, 6, 7 API calls via OPC UA, then you can directly talk to all of these devices. So we are reducing engineering efforts dramatically. Another example, Robotic. When I studied 30 years ago Robotic, I'm not diving into the technical details, but last year at the Automatica, first time in the life ever, we had 8, 9 robots with the same identical API set, allowing to provide data for status data, telemetry data, pushing up into the cloud. And so the integration into the Microsoft Azure area was extremely easy. And we will replicate this demo also next week at the Automatica in US, in Chicago. So if there are here some colleagues from US, please join us at the Automatica. And the Robotic Companion Spec, this is again a high value from the VDMA. Thank you for that, for your efforts. They figured out that there is another group also doing a companion spec on robotic with OPC UA in China. And so they talked to each other and already aligned on domain-specific levels. But the real challenge what we have, and that's why we are here today as a starting point, is that we have to do the cross-domain harmonization of information models. Because a lot of these machines have overlapping content. Nearly every machine needs an MES interface. Every machine needs OAE data. We might add a power interface to each machine. And it would be stupid and confusing if every machine defines, again, their own model for that, because then we have exactly the same challenge as years before with different protocols. Then we just have it on a higher level with different information models. I'm not talking today about the field initiative, field level communications initiative. This is not the focus today, but you have definitely registered and recognized all the efforts what we started at the SPS. And for me, and this means we are going down into the sensor level, but we are also, this is the first focus on communicating horizontal between machines from different ecosystems. But I believe here, and this was exactly a nice message, we behave as the OPC Foundation a little bit in the best meaning as the United Nations of industrial automation, where we are providing the neutral ground where competing companies and competitors can come together and agree on things. And that's definitely what I think it's a nice picture and vision for the future. My two last slides. I announced that we are already in the end, we are addressing already end user needs, and I see here Mr. Schweiger from Volkswagen. Hello, welcome. And it's a pleasure for me that Volkswagen is hosting the OPC Day Automotive in mid-May, and we will replicate this event also in North America, in Detroit and in India. But as you see here, we have the who is who on stage and on presentation, so maybe we see again there. And of course, we are here at the Hanover Trade Show in Hall 9A11, so if you are there, please join and see our booth and all the solutions. With this, I again thank everybody again. I will hand over quickly